The first assistant district attorney there, Kevin Steele, laying out the charges. Let's dig deeper into this. CNN legal analyst Joey Jackson joins me now from New York. Criminal defense attorney Pate is with us, too, from CNN Center as well. Joey, let me ask you, tell us more about the timing here, because there is a statute of limitations on aggravated sexual assault, and it would have run out tomorrow. So what does that say about how this case was put together, Joey?
That's right, Hala. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to you, Paige. Well, remember, under that time constraint, I think that's why we're seeing the charges brought forward now. And let's be mindful also of the politics here. And they are as follows. The initial district attorney who evaluated the case back in 2005, Mr. Castor, at that time in his evaluation, he found that there was insufficient evidence to move forward. There was a major campaign, and Bill Cosby was front and center in that campaign. In fact, the former district attorney, and whether they should have prosecuted Bill Cosby, was front and center. Of course, he ran against Mr. Steele, who won only weeks ago. And so, therefore, it was largely anticipated that he would charge. Now, in order to charge, what do you need? You need some type of evidence which establishes probable cause of a crime. That probable cause was found in a civil deposition. A deposition, of course, Hala, is when attorneys interview. There was a civil lawsuit Andrea Constant brought forward in 2005. As part of that civil lawsuit, Bill Cosby had to testify under oath in terms of how he knew Ms. Constant, what the nature of their relationship was, when was he with her, where was he with her, what exactly did he do, and he made certain admissions in that deposition. So largely based upon the civil allegations here, the newly elected district attorney felt that at this point it needed to be revisited based on that 12-year statute of limitations. Based upon him just getting elected to that office, he decided to announce these charges today. And if you look at the probable cause affidavit, it's compelling in terms of what it lays out by way of allegation in terms of what Mr. Cosby did to her on that given time in 2004.
All right, we're talking about 2004, so we're talking obviously almost 12 years ago, just a day shy of that. So, Paige, how difficult is it to prosecute a case that happened so long ago? How might that alter the prosecution strategy here?
Well, normally in a case like this where there's an allegation of sexual assault, the longer you wait, the more difficult it becomes to prosecute someone. But in this case, we have the alleged victim actually made the disclosure, the outcry, if you will, way back in 2005. So it's not like she sat around waiting for 12 years before she accused Mr. Cosby of this conduct. She made that accusation years ago. And I agree with Joey that we finally have in this affidavit enough probable cause to pursue Bill Cosby on these charges, but a lot of what's in this affidavit, the prosecutor knew way back in 2005. I mean, apparently they had interviewed Bill Cosby, the investigators did, and he admitted to a lot of the allegations. There's no question that he was groping this woman. He admitted to that. There's no question he gave drugs to this woman.
But so why didn't they prosecute him then? I mean, people are all asking this question now as well. The allegations were made 10 years ago.
Right.
Police spoke to Bill Cosby 10 years ago. Why, Paige, was this case not brought forward a decade ago? Why just today?
Ultimately, a decision to prosecute is going to be up to the elected prosecutor. I think what has happened since is, as Joey mentioned, we have some inconsistencies now in the civil deposition from what Cosby said earlier. I think we may have had a DA at that time who simply did not want this kind of an attention. I mean, look at what already happened in this small town in Pennsylvania with the media descending on it. This is going to be an incredibly high-profile trial, and a lot of conservative district attorneys will shy away from that. I also think, and this is what I think is critical, we have all these new allegations. And in most states and in federal court, those new allegations can come in as evidence in this case. So that really bolsters the state's case.
And what happens next, Joey Jackson? I mean, could we see more criminal charges brought against Bill Cosby?
This is huge. I mean, you certainly could, but, and remember, a lot of the accusers, they are time barred. There's a statute of limitations for a reason, and it's basically because memories fade, witnesses disappear, certainly evidence gets stale in general. So in terms of what we may else see in terms of criminal allegations, we don't yet know. We know that these criminal allegations and what's next in this case is going to be huge and compelling. There's going to be motion motions filed by attorneys. Page mentioned before all the new allegations, and it's a different Lancet. There's a new sheriff in town, new DA, and I think the tenor and really the tone and the mood has changed because of everyone out there saying he did this to me, he violated me. So the question's going to become, Hala, whether any or all of these accusers, any of that evidence creeps into this trial. And so I think the defense attorneys for Bill Cosby are going to say, we want to limit the landscape. What Bill Cosby may or may not have done at some other place and some other times to some other person is not admissible in this particular case, Judge. It prejudices right to a fair trial. It's not fair, et cetera, et cetera. However, the prosecution is going to say, well, wait a second. This is his modus operandi. It goes to intent. It goes to the commonality of his plan, of his scheme. Of course it's admissible. And then a judge is going to have to decide whether to let any of those victims testify or all of those victims testify or none of those victims testify, because, boy, is that prejudicial if that jury gets to hear some of the other allegations.
I think we just saw the very beginnings of the media frenzy surrounding this case in that small town in Pennsylvania. Joey Jackson, Paige Pate, thanks very much to both of you for talking us through this. A lot more to come tonight on the program.